Okay, guys. Wow. We talked about the full moon of 3I Atlas in my last video. It has happened January 22nd. It's happening between a time frame from January 19th to January 29. This is when we can see the most of 3I Atlas that we're desperate to see and to find out. So let me begin with a striking picture. We have the new Hubble images that were taken on January 22nd when it was aligned with Earth and Sun. So, Hubble telescope has captured a series of images of our mysterious object, interstellar object, comet, alien spacecraft, or whatever the heck it is. 3I Atlas, this interstellar visitor, passing through our solar system. Well, hopefully, right? We're hoping it won't turn around. So, these Hubble images that we're seeing right now, they don't look like typical comet pictures. Again, of course, what a surprise. But listen, guys, there's more. There's way more that I want to tell you today. But before I do me a favor. Could you give me an early like and hype? That helps my channel, doesn't cost you a thing. And let's dive into this right away. So we see, instead of a normal comet picture, I have to say we see just a fuzzy ball with a tail. And boy, is that a tail, right? They show also this complex system of jets, and we have to talk about these jets again today. So, long streaks of material, and this strange symmetric pattern, symmetric that astronomers usually do not expect to see from natural comets, and they do not see it. Scientists have now processed the new images with a special filter that is removing the normal glow, so that it reveals the structures that are anything but ordinary, guys. So, what exactly did Hubble see on January 22nd? As Earth, the Sun, and 3I Atlas lined up in a rare, nearly perfect alignment, one line, Hubble took fresh images of the object. And when the images were processed to remove the basic bright haze around 3I Atlas's core, we see a long anti-tail, unnaturally long, pointing nearly towards the Sun and Earth, meaning it's going the wrong way. We know that compared to typical comet tails, which are pushed away by the Sun by solar winds and sunlight. So then, there is this system of three smaller jets that we see close to the nucleus of 3I Atlas, all spaced equally around by an angle of 120 degrees. What a geometry! How can this happen with a normal, supposed to be chaotic comet? Because that's what they are, right? They are not perfectly geometric. One of these three mini-jets, and that's interesting, appears a little bit fainter in these images because of how it was oriented relative to Earth when these images were taken, so it doesn't mean it is actually weaker. And then we have the glow around Atlas. It stretches roughly 100,000 kilometers, 70,000 miles in the Sun's direction. That's about 10 times the Earth's diameter. It's absolutely huge. Why is this so weird? Why is it not like a normal comet? Well, typical comets in our solar system are icy bodies that when they come near the Sun, they warm, right? They release gas and dust in a more chaotic way that doesn't produce such a, we have to call it, guys, clean, symmetric angled jets. But with 3I Atlas, the jets are symmetrically spread at 120 degrees, and we have 18 other anomalies that still haven't been explained to this day. So 120 degrees, that's a very, we have to say, regular arrangement. Nothing's irregular about this. So also, in addition, the system seems to rotate slowly. Well, guys, compare it with a lighthouse light. This is how it seems to rotate. The jets appear to wobble by about plus minus 20 degrees every roughly 7 hours, and the anti-tail, like the long ray towards the Sun, stays straight across hundreds of thousands of miles kilometers without being deflected by solar wind. Wow. Boom. There it is. What is the explanation? This is something that normal comet dust does generally not do or cannot do easily. We have talked about the dust grains must be larger for it in order to do that, right? What are the jets and the anti-tail made of? We were hoping for answers through these images. They could be ice fragments, yes, they could be shed from the body's surface, but scientists do not know exactly yet what it is, right? They could be large dust grains released in clumps. We talked about this in previous videos. Or, and this is one reason where the Galileo project is paying attention to, they might be objects of significant mass in their own right. So the symmetric arrangement of these three mini-jets that we see in the images, in all the images that we have taken recently, it's so striking that some scientists have asked, could this be a sign of technology instead of just natural comet jets? And really, guys, I think this question is justified. We're still trying to find a natural explanation for this, don't get me wrong, but nobody says anything. So this 120-degree angled pattern matters. This is very unusual spacing. You would do this if you would build something artificial like a spacecraft and you'd have thrusters, right? So if we have natural physical processes, let's assume this thing is natural, like random ice sublimation. The word says it already, random ice sublimation, not like, oh, the last few weeks and months, they stay the same angle. So randomized sublimation usually doesn't produce such exact symmetry. But certain engineered systems do, for example, thrusters on a spacecraft, they can be arranged in symmetry for stability control. Right? That makes absolute sense. You don't want them to be chaotic, more on one side than the other. So to adjust the orientation, which the scientist in scientific words, we call that attitude, a spacecraft might need jets of thrusters that are arranged in a certain way to give push in balanced directions. On real satellites, for example, the thrusters often come in pairs to counteract each other, but in some designs, symmetric sets of jets could serve a purpose. So what we're seeing here, it could serve a purpose. The question is, does it? We were so hoping that starting December 19th, when it was closest to Earth, that we would get answers, and that we would be able to confirm, yeah, it's natural, but we just can't. There's more questions now than answers. So the question examined isn't just idle speculation, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think, because it's whether this symmetric configuration might be like the minimum number of jets needed for a technical object to reorient itself in space, right? Assuming it spins. So the jet's behavior persistent over many observations from late 2025 until right now makes the symmetry more than like a one-off fluke, right? I think we can agree on that. So we have the Hubble images from November, from December, now from January. They all show the same pattern after the halo glow is filtered out. But the whole system also, the whole system with these jets, it doesn't just sit still. Instead, it rotates and it wobbles. It wobbles by 20 degrees over a cycle of roughly 7.1 hours. So this suggests that the central body of 3I Atlas is rotating and the jets follow that rotation like the beams of a slowly spinning lighthouse. Another boom, right? The rotation axis, also very weird, seems to be pretty close to the direction towards the sun. That's an orientation that itself is not typical for random comet objects, we have to say. So, is it technology? Is it? No one claims that there is a smoking gun yet, but there's what we do know from the images and from all the scientific papers that have been released. And Harvard professor Avi Loeb is one of the leading scientists in this area. What we know is, and what we cannot explain, that jets are real and persistent. They're unusually symmetric, not what most comets show. The anti-tail behavior doesn't fit simple models. Scientists documenting this are open to the possibility of like non-standard explanations, including technological origins. We have to, don't you think? But they also, of course, they emphasize that like careful scientific work takes time and more data. Well, good. But for NASA, it seems to be case closed. Object is natural. If you ask the CIA for Freedom of Information Act about the object, they released a letter said it's classified. If it's a natural piece of rock, why is it classified? You find all these videos and all the explanations of the anomalies. By the way, I have a playlist, so check my Atlas playlist. I'll put it in the end screen. But guys, there is more. If we look at all of that, right? The anomaly is real. The anomalies, we have to say, are real. Pattern is unusual, and the technological hypothesis is being considered, now not assumed, but it's part of a scientific exploration that makes 3I Atlas so special, right? It's not behaving like the other comets that we have seen, even the two other interstellar objects that we have seen. The jets are arranged, and we have, I would use the word in an unexpected way, with this symmetric pattern. Anti-tail super strange towards the sun. Object rotates with a periodic wobble. Nothing is random here. And some scientists are asking whether that symmetry could be this technological signature from whatever. We're not saying this is a manned spacecraft or anything. It's a probe. Maybe it's something that was sent out long time ago, right? Doesn't prove anything yet, I have to say. But it does make Interstellar Object 3I Atlas one of the most intriguing interstellar visitors that we have ever observed. Don't you agree? If you do, thank you for the like and the hype. Share it with your friends. Leave me a comment. Do you think it's natural or not? I'd be interested in that. And check out what else is happening. We have very sad incident in New Zealand going on with a terrifying landslide that has rushed over a campground if you want to watch this. Sicily absolutely devastating and so much more, guys. So please stay safe, be aware of your surroundings, and I hope I see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.